I joined in February 2015, and the implementation had already started. The system was already procured. And what they did before, my colleagues at Southbank Centre, is they ran a couple of proof of concept projects first, with a project manager who was dedicated to support that from the technical point of view in terms of actual project control. And of course we had a consultation period before, so we had an external consultant help us advise on the vendor and that side of things. When I arrived, we had the project manager and myself, and we actually had an intern who was a final year master's student of dam theory, so to kind of help us with the more sort of documentation based side of things, so the governance documentation and things of this nature where we were sort of lacking in the theory department. And then we had a team of sort of high-level stakeholders. So we had, for instance, the deputy head of artistic programming was sort of chair of that team, I believe. And together we came up with the initial taxonomies and that kind of side. We are still implementing. Really, I mean, we've launched the product sort of end of 2015 after having procured it and set it up and kind of reached out to some pilot departments, and we started using it for real from the 1st of April or the 4th of April this year. So the implementation, what I would stage we're at the moment, I would say, is it's not yet mature. It's still young. It's still developing. We're still adding parts of the organization to the dam, but also adding different taxonomies to the dam as our needs grow. So we have a fairly varied. We're quite unusual because we have a very varied number of use cases. So we have the poetry library who have their own sort of materials that are not really directly connected to the events work, for instance, which the artistic programming team would have. So the team, that sort of top level team and the implementation are quite complex and quite big. And it will take us a while before we get there, but we should get there in the end.